With the Redmi Note 10, Xiaomi has taken a big leap of faith towards betterment, and to some extent, Xiaomi's strategy seems to have worked well. Welcome to the Redmi Note 10 final review. After thorough testing of this device, I am ready to lay out a complete map of this phone's pros and cons. If you are new on my channel, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. If you find this video good enough at some point, do hit the thumbs up button too. Alright, I would like to kick it off with a quick recap of the unboxing, colors and price. The box brings us the phone, SIM eject pin, documentation, 33-watt charging brick and a USB Type-C cable. Colors and price of this phone is on your screen, and I will just get the specs of this phone out of the way too. When we get this phone out of its box, it makes the very first good impression with its build and design. I am more interested in the build, so let me tell you why I like it. First of all, this phone is lightweight. It is about 22 grams lighter than last year's bulky and fat Redmi Note 9. It's also slim and doesn't really make your hands tired when you have held the phone for a while. The shiny cover back is a fingerprint and smudges magnet, something I don't like about this phone. Redmi Note series always brings a new design to the table, and the Redmi Note 10 does the same. The unique camera cutout holding 4 rear cameras looks decent. The plastic frame of this phone has a flat top and bottom. It has a headphone jack, primary mic, speaker and the USB-C port at the bottom, IR blaster, secondary mic and the speaker at the top. And by the way, that's the stereo speaker setup. Very soft power cum fingerprint scanner on the right, along with the volume keys of the phone and a dual SIM card slot with the micro SD card slot on the left. And this slot supports up to 512 gigs of external storage. Redmi Note 10's display is also a huge upgrade over its predecessor. It has a slightly smaller 6.43 inches screen as compared to the 6.5 inches screen of the Redmi Note 9, but it is Super AMOLED this time with a peak brightness of 1100 nits. In case you don't remember, the Redmi Note 9 had an extremely poor peak brightness of 450 nits, so you can already imagine how big of a difference has a Note 10 made. The screen is still Full HD but with 409 density now. Glass protection on this phone is a downgrade. It's protected by Gorilla Glass 3. As far as the colors are concerned, this screen is lovely. It has whiter whites, blacker blacks, colors are on point. You will definitely love everything about this display. Watching videos or playing games is going to be fun. Of course, there are some graphics limitations because of an inferior supporting hardware, but for everyday use at this price point, this is the best display that you can get right now. The thin bezel profile maximizes your good experience. The phone out of the box runs on the Android 11 themed by the MI UI 12. The main features on this phone include the always on display, but it doesn't stay on all the time. It runs for about 10 seconds and goes off on its own. If you wish to keep it on, you can turn off the MIUI optimization in the developer options, but that also comes at the cost of not letting some system apps work properly, and it's gonna be heavy on the battery too. I did try it and I did not really face any of the system applications crashing, and in fact the battery did not even go out on my end. So I am not sure what impact it is going to make, but this is a workaround and you should know about it. It has the screencast feature, the dark mode. Well, this time the dark mode is useful because it's combined with a Super AMOLED screen. It has all other cool MIUI 12 features including the navigation gestures. And by the way, you can also use a black theme or black wallpaper on this UI along with the Super AMOLED screen. That will also save a little bit of battery on your phone. One thing that I did not like is the slow nature of its UI. It is too slow. Whatever you do or open on this phone seems slow. You might get used to it over the course of a few days, but if you are switching from a phone that was a little faster, you will face a hard time getting used to this one. I really hope Xiaomi fixes this in a software update. Snapdragon 678 in this phone is a better choice. We have finally gotten rid of the Helio chipsets on this line of Redmi phones. The Snapdragon 678 performs better. I'll show you its benchmark scores. The Antutu clocks about 228K, much higher than the previous phone. And here's the Geekbench score. I also ran the 3D Mark gaming benchmark And here are the scores on your screen. To test the read and write speeds of this phone, I ran the Andro bench, and here you go with the stats. I am using the 4GB plus 128GB variant of this handset at the moment. Snapdragon 678 on this phone is coupled with the Adreno 612 GPU. Gaming on this phone is good. It's not overwhelming, but it's not underwhelming either. The graphics are fine, not too good, but they are much better than an LCD smartphone. The touch responsiveness of this phone is really good. I always had this complaint from the LCD displays that they start feeling a bit oily after playing the games for a while. That's not the case here anymore. The Super AMOLED screen supports your hands while playing the games. I did not face any lags or stutters while playing PUBG Mobile or the COD Mobile or Asphalt 9. The phone hits about 40 frames per second for the PUBG Mobile, 60 frames per second for COD Mobile, and 30 frames per second for Asphalt 9. For small games or the runner games, it easily hits 60 frames per second. To make your gaming experience better, its dual stereo speakers do a splendid job. But when you're playing the games, you will likely hold the phone this way, and this way you will cover both of its speakers, because if you notice the speaker placement, they are both placed on the opposite directions and they are covered under your hands. This to me looks like a design flaw, but the company's minds are definitely better than mine, and they must have a better idea of why they are placing the speakers like this. I tried the Bluetooth connectivity on this phone and it also works very well. The Wi-Fi connectivity is also very good. I did not face any signal reception issues on this device. Moving on to the cameras, we have main 48 megapixel Sony IMX582 sensor on this phone. Remaining camera details are on your screen. Cameras on this phone are fine. When I am reviewing such a phone, I always keep its price in the mind. And for this price, the cameras are very good. This phone has electronic image stabilization in 30 frames per second mode. The camera app is powerful. The Gimmicky 48 megapixels mode resides under the more options. It has video recording up to 60 frames per second from the rear camera. The Pro mode is accompanied by the Video Pro mode, and it has the RAW capture support too. Night mode, slow motion, panorama and all such modes are available. I did a full camera review of this phone and I'll attach it here, but for now I'll attach some camera samples here as well for you to analyze. The images in the broad daylight come out very nice. It can blow off the background and the highlights at times, but does a good job most of the times. The camera performs poorly in the low light. Front camera takes extremely soft and detail-less selfies. Edge detection on the front camera is nice though. To learn all about the camera, check out my full camera review of this phone. And this now brings us to the battery. It's got a big 5000 mAh battery and a 33 watt fast charger. The battery on this phone is not easy to drain by any means. I played the games on this phone for 1 hour starting off with 93% battery, and after an hour, I was down to 75%. Based on these stats, I can say that this phone's full 100% battery with moderate use can easily last for 2 days. And standby? Well, you can wait for it to die in about 7 to 10 days. Charging would take about 1 hour and 30 minutes to go from 0 to 100. I have a full battery drain test of this phone planned, but that will be done once I get the Redmi Note 10s, 10 Pro and the Galaxy A52 and the A72. And with this, we reach the conclusion. Redmi phones are all about value for money, and the Redmi Note 10 is definitely a great value for money. This phone has got everything right except for that slow UI, but at the same time, it's giving you an excellent display, decent performance, great battery, and a fine camera. If you are willing to compromise on that slow UI, I recommend this phone. This might not be the best low-end smartphone right now, but there's something that makes me extremely excited. The Redmi Note 10 has set new standards in the industry. This certainly means that the future phones of this category will be much better. Healthy competition gives birth to better innovations, and in that sense, I appreciate this smartphone. You are free to disagree with what I think, and I would love to hear your deviating thoughts about this phone if you have any. If you enjoyed this review, please subscribe to my channel and help me grow, and hit that like button to show your love. With that being said, I will sign off and see you all in the next one.